Hi guys, welcome to the first real episode of this tutorial series. So, before we start and put our level together and add game logic, we first need a level to actually walk around in. So, as you could see in the preview of the project, we're going to make a little apartment, and we're going to do this in Blender 2.76. That's the version I'm using. So, if you have another version, it might differ a little. But if you have the same version, everything will be the same. So if I click anywhere in this window will disappear. And first let me turn on screencast keys so that you can see what I'm actually doing. You can see down here what buttons I'm pressing. So now I make this go away. So now first you can see there's a cube in the middle, and there's a camera and a light. So first of all, we don't need the camera and we don't need the light. So to remove them, we right click on them. It's important that you right click to select things, because left clicking actually moves this 3D cursor around. So if I click somewhere in the scene, this 3D cursor will move around. It's important that you keep it at the origin point, that's at 0, 0, 0. It's just a 3D coordinate. If you per accident move it around, just go here. Let me show it again. Press on this little plus icon here, and then this will pop up, and under 3D cursor, it's, if you scroll down a little bit, just put everything here to 0, 0 and 0. So it will go back to this position. So now put it away. So now right click on the lamp and hold shift and press on the camera. So now both of them are selected, and now to delete something you have to press X and click on OK. So now those two things are gone, and now actually we don't need the cube, so also click on the cube and press X and delete it. So we are going to need a plane to create our apartment. So to create a new 3D object, press Shift and A, and this menu will pop up. Under Mesh, you can go to Plane and click on it. So now we have this plane. To navigate in this 3D scene, by pressing the middle mouse button, you can pan around the object, like you can see here. If you scroll up or down, you can zoom in or out. And by grabbing one of those like arrows with the left mouse button, like you can move it around. But we want it at the original position here in the middle, so let's put it back there. So before we start to actually do something with this, you have to know that Unity uses a metric scale and Blender uses its own scale. So if you import something from Blender into Unity, the scales won't match up quite. The scales won't match up. So to fix this, we can go into this menu and change from units to metric, and now we have the metric unit system in Blender. So now we can everything in Blender will have the same size in Unity. Okay, now let's start. First of all, we have to scale this plane by pressing the 7 key on the numpad. You can go into a top view. And if you don't have a numpad, you can go down here to view and just click on top view. And then pressing 5 on the numpad will go into an orthogonal view. It's very important that you have that you press the 5. If you don't have one, you can again go to view and press view perspective orthographic. So if you do this, you will change between those two modes. So Now, first of all, we want to scale on the x-axis, that's our length. So we want the apartment to be around 20 meters long. So to do that, we press S for scale, and then type in the number 20 because we want it to be 20 meters long. So, I'm sorry, I forgot something. We have to press S, and then we have to press the button assigned to the axis we want to scale. So now we want to scale on the x-axis. That's the red line you can see. So if you press S and then X, you can see the red line gets highlighted. And now if you press 20, the plane will scale on the x-axis. And now if you want to scale on the y-axis, we have to do pretty much the same thing. So we press S and then we press Y, and now we want it to be 10 meters wide, so we type in 10. So that's everything. So now if you pan around, you can see now we have a pretty big plane. So now how do we start to actually make this plane into our apartment? So we start by pressing the tab key. That's the key with the two opposing arrows on it. So we can change into edit mode. Again, if you don't know what the tab key is, you can go down here where it says object mode and just go into edit mode. So now we are in edit mode and this plane is highlighted. So now if we grab one of these edges, for example, we can start to move it around, and you can see that we create new shapes. But this is not the shape we want, so we make it so we undo that. So how are we going to make walls and such? It's actually quite easy. So first we have to press the W key and go under subdivide. That means that we make that we give the plane multiple faces. So let's click on subdivide. Now we have 4 faces, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Go down here to number of cuts and increase that to 10. So now we have 10 faces here and 10 faces here, if I'm right. Yep. And now press again W and press on subdivide. And now we have a lot of faces to work with. Now to actually make walls, I'm sorry. Press down here to go into face select mode. And now if you right click on one of these faces, it gets highlighted. That means that we can start to edit it, so we can drag around, scale it, we can even rotate it with R, but that's nothing we want for now. So I'm going to undo this. What we are going to do is we go into the top view and make sure that you're in orthogonal mode. I'm sorry, I just can't pronounce that word. So that you're not in perspective, but you're in ortho mode, so you can see it up here. And now we are going to select all of the faces that are going to be our walls. So if you press B on our keyboard, we start to have something that's called box select, B for box. And if we drag it now onto the faces, I want the outer faces to be part of the wall, and release, you can see that all of them get selected. And now I'm just starting to select faces I want to be part of the wall. So we're going to grab these. Then I'm going to have, you have to imagine the layout of your apartment. So let's say if this is the entrance, we grab these keys, and again by holding shift and pressing the right mouse button, we can add more faces to the current selection and add more of these. Then we grab these, oh wait. Yeah, take all of these and this. Always leave one in the middle, because this is where we are going to add the doors. And then just continue to make your apartment. Just imagine where the wall is going to be. So I'm going to grab all of this, and I'm going to have a double door inside of here. So I'm going to have three spaces, and then I'm going to have 2 more rooms on this side. So I'm grabbing all of this, and let's have the doors here, and add another room here. This is going to be the bathroom. So we grab all of these, and now we have all the faces selected we want to have as a wall. So now if we turn around, you can see that the blue arrow is pointing up. So now by pressing E we extract more faces out of this. It means that if I press E now and just click, you can see that we have more faces now. It kinda looks like the points here are doubled. So now if you press G for grab, because we want to grab and move the faces, and press Z or Z depending where you come from, we can start to drag them along this Z axis. So if I again press G and Z, and then let's have a height of 4 meters or something. In the project I showed you before, the height was 3 meters, but I think that's actually a little bit too low, so we make it 4 this time. So now we have something that is kind of similar to an apartment, don't you think? So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to make our lives easier when we are going to texture it, and also increase the performance. But first of all, we have to add like a little top part here, so that the doors fit in, and we just so that the doors fit in, so we have to make space for the door. To do that, we just unselect everything we have here. By doing that, to do that, we press A to deselect everything, and then we are going to press Ctrl and R to make a so-called loop cut. This is this purple line you can see. Now if we click and simply drag it up, and actually I did it on the wrong side, I'm sorry. Again, if I do it now on the right side, because we want it on the inside, and click and just drag it up as high as we want the top part of the wall to be. I want it around this high. So now we have this loop going all around. If we zoom in and we click on this vertex select mode, we just have to select these corners and select the corner on the other side. So if I select the other side and press F for fill, you can see there's a new face. So we are going to do this with all of the 4 sides now, everywhere we want to have a door. So I'm going to grab these and press F. Going to grab these and press F, and most importantly, grab them down here and press F. So now we have filled the space and we have one wall. Now you might ask yourself, why has this thing another color? That's because the normals, so the way the face is showing, faces only get rendered on one side. So if I would import that one into Unity right now, You actually couldn't see this part here, but we're going to fix it in just a minute. So we're going here and do pretty much the same thing. So we add this and add this, and again just grab these and press F. So now we have that one done. Just 3 more to go. I'm sorry. Grab these up here. Fill that in. Press this. And fill. Now over to this ones. Time to grab this, this. I would always recommend to listen to music or to something else while you're doing this, because this can take a lot of time and I'm rushing this right now. And especially if you have not especially if you don't have a lot of practice, this will take even more time. So yeah, I would always recommend to listen to music or something like this. And then fill that one in, and now we have all of this done. And now if you press A to deselect and press A again to select everything, now to fix this we have to press Ctrl N. So here it says make normals consistent, and what it did, it flipped those normals around. So now they're all part of what's getting rendered. So right now it's starting to look like an apartment. So now we are going to improve performance and make our lives easier to texture it. So what are we going to do? We're going to have the face select and press A to deselect everything. And we are basically going to melt all these faces into one big face, so that we have one solid wall that we can texture later on. It's going to make it a lot easier. So to do this, we start with the floor. We're just going to grab another neat trick. If you press C for circle, you get the circle. You can increase and decrease its size by scrolling up or down, and then by holding the left mouse button and dragging, we're selecting these faces. So now what we're going to do, we're pretty much selecting all of the faces that are part of the bottom of the floor in this room. So you just select all of them. So now we, got you. So now that we selected every face in this room, we press X, and instead of deleting, we go down here where it says dissolve faces. And what this is going to do, it melts all those different faces into only one big face. So if you do this, we only have one face here. So we are going to do this with the other rooms. We're going to the reason why we make every room individually is because then we have the choice to put another floor texture everywhere. So for example, if I want to have wood down here, I can have wood. If I want to have stone for some reason, I could put stone texture in this part of the apartment. It's all up to you. It just gives us the option. So press X and solve the face. And yeah, pretty much do this for all rooms. And if you by accident select any other faces and you have the circle select, just press the middle mouse button and go over the faces so they get deselected. So now we have this, press X to solve faces, and we're going to continue. So, oops. And press X and solve faces. Grab all of these. Press X to solve faces. Press X to solve faces. And now we are also going to do this with the walls. So grab all of this. Sorry. Just decrease the size if you select too many faces by accident. And press X to solve the faces to make one wall. This is taking a very long time, so I might have to cut this video into 2 parts, but I'm not sure about this. We will see. Yeah, and just continue all the way around. It's not very difficult. Again, it just takes a lot of time. So maybe I can explain why we are doing this. Besides the ease of texturing later on, it also helps to increase the performance of our game, because now the apartment has less faces that actually need to get rendered. And the less polygons and faces you have, you can see the total count up here, the better. It always increases performance, so if you have a lot of very high poly models, it can actually screw over your performance pretty bad. But you also keep in mind that you're losing a lot of detail if you do this. It's not too bad with an apartment like this because it only has straight walls, so you won't notice anything. So it's worth to take the time and do this. But if you have a weapon or a character, you always have to keep the balance between high poly count and performance. Because if your game looks like crap, nobody wants to play it. I mean, yeah, it's harsh to say that, but let's be honest, a lot of people really don't care for gameplay and only care for the graphics. So select all of this. So faces, and now we only have to do this room and then we are pretty much finished. So X, so faces. And oops. Now if you screw up, just press Ctrl Z. I'm like, what just happened? Oh, yeah, I pressed dissolve edges. We have to press dissolve faces, because otherwise funny things will happen. Do this, and I think here's another one. This. Okay, now that we have now that we have done all of this, there's only... oh, there's one more room. Jesus. Okay. So face. So face. Okay, and now there's only one last step to do, because as you can see, there are a lot of faces we don't need. So if we click on one of the outer faces here and press Alt and click, right click, it selects all of these faces in a circle around. So now we can press X, and this time we're going to delete the faces, so delete faces, and they're gone. And we're going to do this with the top ones. So again, keep pressing Alt, and then keep pressing Shift. Okay, it won't do it. So just select, perhaps you can go into the top view and use the box select. So we're going to select this, and this, and this, and then press X and press faces. So we now deleted all of this, and we're going to delete the top faces here, because there's going to be a roof on top of all of this, so we really don't need the top faces, because the player is never going to see them. So there's really no reason to keep them around. So just grab all of them and press X and delete the faces. We can also go in here and grab these two, not this one, these two, this, that, just grab it, press X, delete faces, and now I forgot another room. I'm going to do this very quick, and dissolve faces, press X and dissolve the faces. X and dissolve the faces. Now on this wall is left. Press X to dissolve the faces. So now the last thing we are going to do is we make the roof, and then we are done with the apartment. So now just grab the floors by pressing Shift and clicking on all of them. And now I'm not sure if it's Control D or Shift D, so I'm going to try Shift D. Yeah, it's Shift D. And immediately click, so you don't move the floor. And now just press G on the Z axis, and again remember it's 4 meters high, so we want to move it 4 meters, and press 4, and now we actually have a roof. And that's the apartment, and in the next video I'm going to show you how to texture it, and then we are ready to go into Unity and start putting our level together. So thanks for watching. If you watched all the way, I really thank you, and please leave a comment, like and subscribe if you want to see more. It would really make me happy. So until next time, bye.